what's up? This is Patrick from Guy in the Cube, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can display secured images in your Power BI report. Stay tuned. If you find this for the very first time, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date from all the videos from both Adam and this guy. I've done a lot of videos on displaying images in your Power BI report. In every video, the common theme is those images need to be stored in a location that does not require authentication. And then these three guys call me up. These three guys, Christian, Jorn, I think that's how you pronounce your name, and Michael. And they were like, Patrick, Power BI can actually display images that are in a secured location, like a SharePoint document library. And I'm like, what? No, it can't. They're like, yes, it can. Christian actually wrote a blog post over on his blog site, PBI Guy, and you should go check that blog out. And he walks you through step by step. And they were like, Patrick, you should make a video on this because we think so many people can benefit from this. And so you will need SharePoint Online and you will need Power Apps. And Christian talks about the different licensing you need. And you don't need a premium connector for Power Apps because SharePoint is not a premium connector. So you guys know what I like to do. Enough of all this talking. Let's do what? Let's head over to my laptop. What you're going to need to do is you go to your SharePoint site, and then once you're on your site, what you'll do is click here and you'll create a document library. It's very simple. I already created one called the images, and then I added a column that's kind of the descriptor of what I'm going to display, and an ID column, person ID. That person ID must correspond to whatever source you're pulling the data from that you're going to use in your Power BI report. In my case, I'm just going to use the SharePoint document library itself. But if you're pulling the data from SQL Server, for example, like Patrick's person ID is 1, you need to make sure that in the database, Patrick ID is 1. And you'll see why as we progress through this. So that's the way I'm going to filter things between Power BI and my Power App. So upload your images. So you click here, choose files, and then browse to upload your images. You can see I have 2 rows. I have one for myself, Patrick, and I'm a person ID 1. You can see my name. Then I have one for Adam, person ID 2. Once you do that, go ahead and copy that site to your clipboard. Head over to Power BI, choose Get Data, choose More, and then you can, look through all the lists. But if you just simply type SharePoint, and you'll see SharePoint Online list, click it, click Connect, and then paste the site in there and click OK. If you haven't authenticated to the site, you'll need to authenticate, but if you have, it'll pop open, it'll show you all the lists, and you can see there's my images. Just click it and choose Transform Data. I've already done those steps, but I just wanted to explicitly show you these. So then we'll go here, and then once it's there, what you're going to do is you'll land and it'll look like this. And so you can see I've already done that. Choose columns, and then you're going to need those 2 new columns that you added, person ID and person name. Honestly, you just need the person ID, right? But I'm using the person name, and you're going to need this column name file. And then you can see that if you expand that column out, you can choose server relative URL. Once you do all that, click close and apply and get it loaded. You don't have to pull the data from the SharePoint document library or document list. This data can actually come, my shirt's all raveled up. This data can actually come from SQL, Excel, wherever you're pulling it from. It's just that person ID, right? That's like the unique identifier for each row. They need to match up. So once you do that, you get it loaded up, and then that person ID, it's a number. Make sure you set the summarization to do not summarize. I've added a slicer on my report using the person name, and I set my slicer to single select. So if we go here, slicer settings, selection, I set it to single select. Then I publish my report. I save it and I publish it. Then I head out to the service, and you can see my report is published and it's ready to go. So I created my SharePoint document library. I imported my data into my model. I use the SharePoint list, and I make sure that that person ID, make sure you set it to do not summarize. Now we're going to create our Power App. So now with this all created, open the report and go into edit mode. Once you're in edit mode, go to the visualization pane, click in the white space, and click on the Power App visual. And I'm just going to put it in the middle of the page, click that person ID, drag it to the Power Apps data field well, and now it's going to say, hey, what do you want to do? Let's choose create, and it will take a little bit to get things ready for us. All right, just click skip. Now once it does, you'll see it says 1. If I go back over to my report and I choose Adam, it's going to switch it to 2, and that's because of this Power BI integration object that's over here in my Power Apps. Now I don't want to use this particular gallery that's there by default, so I'm just going to delete it, and then I'm going to go to insert and choose gallery again, and there's this one with this flexible height. I'm going to drop that one on the page, and then I'm going to to get rid of everything besides that big image that's right there. That's the only thing I really care about. Give it a little real estate. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click on that gallery, and we need to add a data source. And that data source is going to be our SharePoint list. So over here on the left, click the data icon, choose add data, and type in SharePoint. And then you'll see my SharePoint right here. Don't choose SharePoint Sites, Microsoft Dataverse, choose SharePoint. So, and then you'll need to authenticate. I'm already authenticated. Click it. You can paste your SharePoint URL here, but perhaps does a good job identifying the sites that are available for you. So mine is under surveys. I'm going to click surveys, and it's going to choose my list. And then you can see right there, there's the images. So I click that and click connect. Once I've done that, I switch back over to the tree view and then choose my gallery. And then you can see right there where it says data source, I'm going to change that to the images. Once that's done, I'm going to click on the image, and then I'm going to change this expression. It's going to be really simple. Watch this. This item dot link. There we go. Link to item. And now you can see, right, it's trying to show both of them. If I expand the gallery out, you can see down there, there's both of them. I really only care about one. We're going to do some magic here in just a little bit. If we go back over to our Power BI report and you start toggling, nothing's going to happen because it's not integrated, right? I don't have the integration as part of the data source. I haven't set up any type of filter on it. Remember, I was saying you need that person ID. I need to make sure it's a whole number, because when I added that person ID in my document library, it's a whole number. Power Apps will give you a little warning if it's not, but you need to make sure that it's available. So now we're going to use it to create the filter. So then when I toggle between my slicer, it'll show the corresponding visual. So I'm going to choose the gallery. In the formula bar, it says the images, which is just the name of my SharePoint document library. So let's write a little bit of code here. So we're going to say filter, open parentheses, single tick, single tick. So that's my source. Then the next thing I'm going to say, give me the first from this Power BI integration object. This is the object that I want to get the data from. Type data, and then we're going to type person ID. Now, if the IntelliSense isn't working, there's something wrong. Okay, you see how nice and quick and fast the IntelliSense is, because everything is completely integrated. So then equals, guess what? Person ID. And then I'm gonna close this off, and it says, hey Patrick, you messed up something. Let's see. Oh, I know what I did. I forgot the parentheses right here. There we go. So now it's showing Patrick. If I go over here and choose Adam, to show Adam. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, one more little aesthetic thing here. The image position, instead of fill, I'm gonna make it fit. And then what I'm gonna do is choose file. I'm gonna call this my Power BI image display, and click save. And then if I go back over here, give it a little bit, boom. And if I toggle, there's Patrick. I can edit this, and I can shrink this down a little bit to get rid of those black bars, tuck it up here in the corner. I can add some additional detail right here if I want to. I am no expert in Power Apps, right? I fumbled my way through this using the PBI guys blog posts and all their guidance, and I got this to work. Now, you may be thinking, well, Patrick, why did you do this in Service? Why didn't you do it directly in the Power BI desktop? You can completely do this in the desktop. I just noticed while I was testing this out and working on a demo that the experience is a little more cleaner and a little more consistent when using it in the Service. All right, big thank you to Christian, Jorn, and Michael for bringing this to my attention, telling Adam and I about this. We think this is great. There's actually another scenario that I'm going to talk about with PDFs, but I got to talk to them a little bit because I kind of got stuck. All right, anyway, what do you guys think? Any questions, comments? Have you tried this? Did you know about this? I'd love to know. Let's continue the conversation where? In the comments below. If it's your first time visiting the Guy in the Cube channel, hit that subscribe button. If you like my video, give me a big thumbs up. As always, from Adam and myself, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.